future of PC gaming is rapidly evolving, with innovations in hardware tech propelling gameplay to new limits year after year. Whether you're a professional gamer, a PC builder, or a weekend warrior, today, right here in the next hour, you will be introduced to some of the newest improvements for your gaming battle station. We've got product launches, we've got gear showcases, and we've even got an amazing PC build giveaway to take your gameplay to the next level. Together, with our partner Seagate Gaming is leading gamers through the next great technology evolution. This is our declaration to beginners and pros alike that the future of gaming is here, and we've got the tools to keep you at the forefront. Welcome to SG21. I'm your host, Justin Roby, founder of RobyTech, and as a lifelong PC gamer and having built hundreds of custom PCs myself, I've seen the evolution of gameplay take its biggest leap in the last 5 years. And Seagate has often been ahead of the curve and are continually pushing gameplay performance forward. Whether it's hard drives, gaming SSDs, or their innovations in docking stations and expansion storage, Seagate is proving to be leading in PC and console gaming storage. And today, at the inaugural SG21, Seagate is partnering with leaders across the entire PC industry to show both the casual hobbyist and the full-time streaming pro what the future of PC gaming looks like. And friends, the future is fast. So here's a snapshot of what today will look like. It's a day centered around the latest advancements in component connection, specifically PCIe Gen 4, unlocking faster speeds, crisper graphics, and insane processing power. Right here, we're going to introduce Seagate's newest, fastest PCIe Gen 4 SSD. We've got EK Waterblock with us to present some amazing innovations in cooling technology for your Gen 4 components. We've got the team at AMD here to talk about how they are blazing new paths of performance with CPU and GPU advancements. We'll have a deep dive discussion into the future of PC gameplay with the pioneers at MSI Gaming. We've got the legendary Deadmau5 with us to talk about his obsession with gaming. We've got CD Projekt Red with us, unpacking the importance of NVMe SSDs in their game development. And our friends at Razer are stopping by to showcase the latest RGB integrations for your battle station setup. And finally, what would a PC gaming showcase be without building a high-performance rig? That's right, Seagate is collaborating with all of our industry leaders and system integrators in this event to build a brand new, fully custom, blazing fast PCIe Gen 4 gaming desktop, which we are going to be giving away to one lucky winner right here today. Seagate recently hosted this giveaway at Seagate.com, and today is the day that we'll be announcing the name of the person who is taking home this amazing, cutting-edge machine. So stay with us. A packed hour of PC gaming innovation awaits. And on behalf of Seagate and all of our partners, thank you for joining us at SG21. Let's get gaming. Seagate has been a pioneer in gaming storage for both PCs and consoles for years. Their FireCuda gaming SSDs have been the backbone of any serious gamer system. If you've got a FireCuda NVMe installed in your motherboard, then you know what fast and efficient looks like. But folks, get ready for even faster with the introduction of Seagate's new FireCuda 530.
When PCIe Gen 4 first roared into gaming in 2019, it set the bar for speed and performance. But if you know anything about Seagate, we don't like to settle. We took a look at PCIe Gen 4 and knew we could push our tech even further.
We are talking faster processing, bigger games, better graphics, and new and stronger gameplay. And we are not just unlocking a new level of ultra-powerful performance for PCs, it's bringing unprecedented gameplay to consoles at the same time.
No more console to PC delays for your favorite titles. No more bottlenecking for development for new game styles or formats. Just unbelievable gaming across the board right into your home.
All this power, all this performance, all this speed needs a dominant SSD. That's why we're proud to introduce you to the Seagate FireCuda 530 SSD.
PC builders and gamers demand the highest performance products. And in meeting these growing standards, our team has outdone themselves. Let's start with the NAND technology. PCIe Gen 4 is wielding a lot of raw power, and it takes the pinnacle of NAND technology to harness its greatest potential.
We've put a top-of-the-line 3D TLC NAND and Physon's E18 controller inside the FireCuda 530, allowing the CPU, memory, and storage to all put in work simultaneously and faster than ever.
I mean, when you talk about speed, this SSD redefines what speed is for gamers. The FireCuda 530 hits speeds of up to 7.3 gigabytes per second.
That's 2 times faster than PCIe Gen 3 SSDs and 12 times faster than SATA SSDs.
So when you think of a PCIe Gen 4 SSD, it's really easy to focus on speed. And speed we have in spades. 7.3 gigs per second is a ridiculous amount of speed. It's basically to the theoretical max of PCIe Gen 4. But speed's just not enough. If you're recording and if you're playing a lot of games, you're downloading a lot of content, you're clearing your drive to make space, endurance is critical. And what we mean by endurance is how much you can read and write on the drive.
That's why we zeroed in our focus on building a high endurance drive and ensured we could hit up to 5,100 total terabytes written. That means you can write and delete 70% of the drive's capacity every day for 5 years. So if you've got a 1 TB FireCuda 530 installed, you can transfer 700 gigabytes every single day for 5 years straight. That's a crazy amount of data transfer.
We're not using lower grade NAND, which lets you write to it fewer times. 0.3 times is typically the industry standard, and we're at 0.7 times, which gives you that 700 gigabyte write per day. So at the end of the day, if you're worried about that, you're investing in this really high performance piece. And the last thing you want to have on your mind is, when is this piece going to fail me? With the FireCuda 530, you don't have to worry about that because you have the combination of speed as well as the endurance. It's a really unique trait to it.
From capturing gameplay and recording live streams to editing video content, our PC rigs aren't just for gaming. We know that gamers and content creators work with a lot of data, and FireCuda 530 Endurance frees you to write and delete content to your heart's desire. Our team built a drive that could stand up to long-term abuse and keep running at max speeds.
You're constantly scanning Steam, GOG, or Epic looking for the newest titles to download. You download and install a bunch of games you can't wait to jump into. With NVMe speed, those installs happen faster, and in-game load times really do become a thing of the past. With performance like that, endurance like that, speeds like that, we're about to set the gaming world on fire. And while early adoption might look like crisper graphics and faster load times, the future of bigger games, tighter rendering, and faster play is at our fingertips.
I kind of nerd out when I think about PC components, because I am a system builder and we're not cutting corners. It's a no compromise product. That's the coolest thing about this, is when you look at it, we're using essentially enterprise grade NAND in a consumer gaming product. So it stands well above what gamers are going to expect right now.
You are using the latest and greatest components, the latest CPU, the latest graphics. So you also want to use the latest storage because you want to make sure that the storage never becomes your bottleneck.
We focus 100% on what gamers want. We define what a console gamer needs, what a PC gamer needs, what's the newest technology coming out with component manufacturers. A lot of effort from our team goes into picking the NAND, picking the controller, qualifying, making sure it gets the best performance possible at launch.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into the development of this product, and it's very exciting to finally be at the cusp of release and be able to get this product that we've spent so much time and effort and love into the market and share it with the rest of the world.
This piece of hardware is going to outlast your current rig. it's going to go with you to your next rig, and it's going to be just as fast, and you're going to be able to ride it just as many times and game on it, and then move on with you well in the future. That's the cool part about jumping in at this phase of the game.
A new bar has been set in the world of gaming SSDs. And with FireCUDA 530, you'll dominate gameplay well into the future.
I cannot wait to get my hands on one of those. The FireCUDA 530 will be shipping this summer, so you will not have to wait either to make your PC upgrade. But all of that SSD performance comes with heat. And for your custom PC to operate at peak performance, you need to manage all that heat. So let's talk to EK Waterblock, the leaders in PC cooling, to see what new innovations in heat management they're excited about.
Hey there, I'm Ryan Schleeper, Product Lifecycle Manager at Seagate, and I'm pleased to welcome Kat Silberstein, EK's CEO for the Americas. Thank you for joining us today, Kat.
Hello, Ryan. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
We're thrilled to have you, and we were beyond excited to be able to collaborate with EK. As far as we at Seagate are concerned, EK is the gold standard when it comes to liquid cooling for your PC and thermal management.
When you first presented us with your plans for the FireCUDA 530 SSD, we were floored by the level of pure performance that you packed into this device. We were quite excited by the challenge of helping FireCUDA's thermal management.
Yep, and as we just discussed with the reveal of our newest PCIe Gen 4 drive, the FireCUDA 530 SSD works at 2 times the rate of PCIe Gen 3. And with all that extra performance comes a lot of extra heat.
That's correct. And for any gamer or content creator, once your CPU or GPU starts thermal throttling, basically running hotter than what the cooling can handle, you're going to start losing performance and frames.
So to keep your PC running at an optimal rate, you've got to keep your CPU, GPU, and NVMe cooled properly.
Precisely.
And that's why we reached out to EK to help develop a custom heatsink for our FireCUDA 530. As a system builder myself, I know that anyone who is truly serious about keeping their PC cool and running smoothly will turn to liquid cooling to solve any issues with unwanted heat. And if you're looking for liquid cooling and expertise in PC thermal management, you look to the precision-made products of EK.
I think we can both agree that the open, collaborative spirit of both companies is what allowed the FireCUDA 530 heatsink SSD to really sing. Now let's hear from the actual EK team in Slovenia that helped bring this product to life.
Hello, my name is Sandy Logar and I'm head of Enterprise Business Unit at EK. I'd like to start this intro by expressing how extremely proud we are that such a well-respected industry player as Seagate has teamed up with us. But I can only speak for myself. Here is the rest of the team.
For me, this experience has been incredible. From the moment Seagate approached us with the exclusive co-branding partnership offer to actually working together, our collaboration has been absolutely mind-blowing. There have been so many great ideas and no challenge has been too big to solve together. Their open-minded, transparent approach and can-do attitude is something you don't see very often. We were always on the same page. For example, Seagate's team immediately knew which design to go with when we pitched the options to them. And yes, it was our favorite choice as well.
Seagate knows exactly what they want and they are very driven to achieve it. I love the level of trust we share. We never wasted time and we are all incredibly ambitious. From my side, thank you for being part of this story.
Let me tell you a few things about EK. For the last 15 years, we have been pushing the limits with constant innovation, a strong R&D department, and more than 300 custom loop products launched per year. We are very proud to have created partnership with AMD, MSI, Nvidia, Intel, and many other silent partners. With that same passion, we listen to our community and give them support. As a result, we are proud to have developed the most loyal community on the market. We are also excited to announce that we have just won 2 IF Design Awards. And what I consider the most important part, we are helping our industry develop by elevating computers. We also face big questions like, could our cooling expertise really provide difference to the heatsink as well?
It was a bit challenging to create a closed assembly that could accommodate two different form factors of FireCuda 530 SSDs. This was especially true when taking into account typical motherboard keep-out zones around the M.2 and PCI Express slots and the small dimensions of the drive itself, while still keeping the overall design and performance that both EK and Seagate are known for. Let me show you. The point where the part starts to thermal throttle has moved up, which allows the user to transfer more data at the highest possible speed. This is a product with a sleek, minimalistic design that is aligned with EK standards while following the recognizable and iconic FireCuda design language. All of it comes together to integrate well into the whole computer build. From my part, I had a lot of work to do, so thank you for that, Seagate. Nah, I'm just kidding. See you next time.
The end result of our collaboration. Two passionate companies with equally passionate individuals created a bond that felt like an old friendship. Devotion to our purpose, mutual trust, and an inner drive to serve and be the best version you can be for our community and fans. This is who we are together. Seagate, never change. Let's continue to push the limits together.
It's been absolutely awesome to have been part of this collaborative process. The level of thought and partnership between the EK and Seagate teams on this project has been phenomenal.
I think that's a testament to what Seagate brought to EK, that once the FireCuda 530 heatsink SSD is in the hands of gamers, not only is it simple to use, it also looks amazing and brings unparalleled performance that next-gen gamers are thirsty for.
On behalf of our team, thank you. It was a pleasure to collaborate.
Ryan, the pleasure was all ours. We are proud to have been able to contribute to this exciting project, and we're looking forward to working on new projects in the future.
Thanks, Kat. Let's send it back to Justin for more of SG21.
They built a custom heatsink for the FireCuda 530. That's awesome. I cannot stress enough the importance of heat management. So definitely check out all of the PC cooling tech that EK has to offer. All right, we've got the SSD for peak speeds. We've got the cooling tech for efficiency. Now let's talk about what's at the core of any gaming PC. And here's AMD to talk about processors and graphics cards for the brave new world of PCIe Gen 4.
Hi, my name is Erin Mayorino, and I'm the Ryzen Desktop Product Marketing Manager at AMD. And I'm so excited to be here to talk the Seagate FireCuda 530 and the power and bandwidth that PCIe 4.0 brings. AMD supports the largest number of PCIe Gen 4 enabled platforms in the entire PC industry, spanning from entry, mid-range, and high-end desktop markets. And we were the first to bring Gen 4 to these markets with our Ryzen and Threadripper brands. We first kicked off this support starting back in 2019 when we launched our 3rd gen Ryzen Threadripper processors with our X570 motherboards. Then we kept that momentum going and offered the unprecedented I/O that comes with our 3rd gen Ryzen Threadripper processors and that TRX 40 chipset. And then we wanted to bring PCIe 4.0 to everyone, and with that we brought in our B550 motherboards, offering 20 lanes of PCIe 4.0 bandwidth off the processor to connect the most advanced GPUs and NVMEs like the Seagate FireCuda 530 out there. Then finally, we launched the AMD Ryzen 5000 series processors, the world's fastest gaming desktop processors out there, all with PCIe 4.0 support. AMD has over 100 500 series motherboards, thanks to our great partners like MSI, to provide a robust system where you can build any gaming rig out there at any config to fit your exact needs, and get that blazing fast performance as well. In addition, our AMD Radeon RX 5000 and 6000 series graphics cards support this bandwidth. Basically, if you're a gamer out there, you're going to want to go with AMD and Seagate to get your maximum performance out of your system, as well as be the envy of all your friends. And we know gamers out there are content creators as well, wanting to show off their clips where they 1v5 and clutch a game to share with their friends and post on social media. PCIe 4.0 bandwidth helps when it comes to content creation, providing better and faster performance when scrubbing through large video files as well. So, who is this technology for? Gamers and content creators out there who want the best of the best. And with AMD Ryzen processors and a Seagate FireCuda 530 SSD, that is exactly what you'll get.
PCIe Gen 4 is changing everything. SSDs, GPUs, CPUs, and it's only going to get better. And to bring it all together in your own system, you need the best motherboard, the foundation on which all is built. Now, here to talk to us about PCIe Gen 4 motherboards and the future of gameplay is a leader of the PC building pack, MSI Gaming.
Hello everybody.
Hello, hello. I'm Mike, and I'm here together with the one and only
Eric. Today
we're going to talk about some cool hardware. First of all, thank you Seagate for having us in your event.
Yes.
Because of course we're all here for the new Seagate launch with their new FireCuda 530. But only an SSD is not enough, of course. You need something to run that SSD on. And we've got plenty of that at MSI.
Yeah, so maybe first, maybe not everybody knows who we are. We are MSI.
This is what we used to be.
In the past we made motherboards and graphic cards.
We still do.
They were very colorful. And now we make motherboard and graphics cards which are, well, they have less colors, right?
They have colors in the lights now.
Yeah, it's all RGB.
Yeah, all RGB.
Because RGB make things faster.
Exactly.
Let's talk about games, because we already said it, we're a gaming brand, and games are getting huge. And this all takes time to load. So what you need is a big and fast storage device. And we're going to show you what you should have, what the best for this is. So, of course, we're going to talk today about motherboards, about PCI Express Gen 4. At this moment, there are already more than 30 AMD Gen 4 capable motherboards in the market.
Yeah, because AMD launched their Gen 4 motherboard, their Gen 4 chipsets in 2019. So it's 2 years of motherboards already. So for example, B550, X570, TRX40 all support PCI Express Gen 4.
You have one over there, you can show, right?
I have 3 over here.
3?
I actually have my test setup. You can see it on the background. It runs the MEG B550 Unify. Then in front of me, I have the MEG X570 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. Yeah, let's take a look. This is our MEG X570 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. So of course based on the X570 chipset. Then
and that one comes with 2 or 3 M.2
slots?
2
M.2 slots. This is our MEG B550 Unify. So even though it's a B550 chipset, it's still a very high-end motherboard. And this one is very special because it can run 3 Gen 4 SSDs, an additional Gen 3 SSD, so 4 M.2 SSDs in total. Grab this big boy, because this is our Creator TRX40, and this is of course for AMD's high-end desktop platform, and this one can run 3 Gen 4 SSDs on the motherboard itself. But does it
come with your fingerprints, or are they normally not included?
No, they're usually not included.
Okay.
Only on special requests.
Yeah.
And this one comes with a cool add-in card, and this will give you an additional 4 M.2 slots. It's an M.2 Expander Aero Gen 4 add-in card. So combined with the Creator TRX40 motherboard, it gives you 7 Gen 4 M.2 slots. Yeah, so there you can see when you open it up, you just get 4 additional slots.
Yeah, so today we're not going this crazy. We're only going to limit ourselves to 3 SSDs, right?
Limit. Yeah. So B550 chipset, of course, also supports PCI Express Gen 4. And we did a very cool trick with this motherboard, because usually you have your primary M.2 slot and your graphics card slot, your PCI Express X16 slot. They are Gen 4 supported. But because today's graphics cards, they don't need all the bandwidth that PCI Express Gen 4 can provide. So the trick we did with this motherboard is that basically we're taking half the lanes off the graphics card, so you get 8 PCI Express Gen 4 lanes for the graphics card, which is still plenty for high-end cards nowadays.
Yeah.
And the other 8 lanes we're using for 2 additional M.2 slots that then can also support the Gen 4 interface.
So soon we will also release some new X570 boards. We call them X570S because they're passive cooled. The first generation X570 boards all had a fan.
So fully silent.
Yeah, and a lot of these boards have more M.2 slots. So you're talking about 2 to 3 to even maybe 4. We will see when it's released. Okay, so Mike, you're going to do some benchmarks. You have over there the new...
Yeah, the very new Seagate FireCuda 530 Gen 4 SSDs. I have 2 of them here, but that's not all, because I have 3 of them in my test setup here.
So here's some benchmarks. Hard drive, not that fast. I mean, it's fast for a hard drive, but I mean, generally, how fast, Mike?
It's like, yeah, if you got a faster one, it goes over 200 megabytes per second. But yeah, it's okay for storage, like your family photos, etc.
Okay.
But if you have very big games, you of course want very fast loading times, and that's where SSDs come in.
Yeah, so we also benchmarked a SATA SSD. So the first SSDs were all based on SATA, same connector like a hard drive.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was, I mean, it was twice as fast as hard drive, but...
It's limited by the SATA interface, so you will see that even the fastest models, they can only do what the SATA interface can do, and then they get bottlenecked.
And so one of the other things we benchmarked was a USB 20 gig FireCuda Gaming, which was really fast. External USB interface.
Yeah, so let me quickly grab the Creator TRX40 again. So this one, for example, has that USB 20 gigabit per second port. It's a Type-C port. USB 20G is always Type-C. So something to keep in mind if you're running a fast drive like that, connect it to the right connector.
Let's focus on this FireCuda SSD, the 1 terabyte. So let's remember that one. And we also did some benchmarks at that moment during our live stream on the Gen 3 NVMe M.2 device, which was much faster.
Yeah, here you see a big difference. And this is just already the difference in the interface, because SATA can just not go faster than basically what we're seeing here. So 500, 550, that's basically where SATA maxes out. And with PCI Express Gen 3, if you have 4 lanes, you can already go beyond 3000 megabytes per second. So big step up.
Indeed, but Seagate also, of course, has a FireCuda 520. Benchmark that one as well, because we did this live stream around the launch of the FireCuda 520. And that one has a very good improvement. That one impressed us really at that moment.
Yeah, so that one was part of the first wave of Gen 4 SSDs, and there you can already see a big step up compared to Gen 3, and that's also because of the interface, of course, but also faster controllers, faster flash memory. But in total, it gives you like around 50% or even more increase when comparing this to the fastest Gen 3 SSDs on the market.
Okay, so let's forget the SATA SSD and let's focus as an NVMe device. So Mike, you're now going to do some live benchmark, right?
Yeah, definitely. So in this system, I've got the MEG B550 Unify motherboard with an AMD Ryzen 9 5950X, which of course also supports PCI Express Gen 4. Then I got, in total, I have 3 of the new FireCuda 530 SSDs installed. But let's first just take a look at what a single one can already do. Yeah. I have 1 boot drive, just a SATA SSD in this situation, but that's fine for the benchmarks we're running. Then we have disk 1, that's the FireCuda 530 that we will benchmark now, and disk 2 and 3 are also FireCuda 530 drives. All of them are 2 terabytes. So yeah, let's take a look at the speed that this can deliver.
So this is a crystal disk mark. It's a very fast but accurate benchmark to give you an idea how fast your storage is. But in real life, of course, this always depends on what kind of windows, a game, how big the files are. I mean, it really differs per application.
Yeah, and right now we're measuring the read and the write speeds of the SSD. And if you remember the speeds that the first wave of Gen 4 SSDs like the FireCuda 520 could provide, you can see this is already a big step up.
We run these benchmarks before, and it's actually faster, the benchmark which Mike now run, than the results here. But yeah, wow, big improvement.
Very fast. So from around 5,000 megabytes per second read speeds, we're already going well beyond 7,000. So almost a 50% increase again. And we already saw the 50% increase from Gen 3 up. So in total, we're getting more than double the speed that we were getting from Gen 3 SSDs.
What's the nice part of RAID on these devices? It scales really well.
So basically you're seeing double the speeds with two SSDs because you're running 2 times the Gen 4 x 4 interface. So basically you get the bandwidth that PCI Express Gen 4 X8 can provide with 8 lanes.
So let me take my calculator, Mike. I already know what 3 SSDs are going to do.
Well, it's quite basic mathematics, right?
Well, there should be some performance loss, not?
Not much, actually.
No, indeed.
No, with 3 of them, of course, you have a total of 12 PCI Express Gen 4 lanes. And if you run them in RAID 0, so you combine the speed of all SSDs, then you can go over 22,000 megabytes per second in read speeds, and even beyond 19,000 megabytes per second in write speed. So these are insane speeds.
Yeah, really impressive.
And this is on a B550 motherboard, by the way. On TRX 40, you can do this with even more SSDs because you can run a total of 7 SSDs on that motherboard.
Yeah. So we hope this was informative for you guys. Thank you all for watching. Take care.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
We all know deadmau5 is one of the most respected electronic music producers, but Joel is also a massive gamer, and I was so excited to sit down with him and talk about PC builds, gameplay, and the future of gaming. Well, Joel, I want to say thank you so much for taking just the time out of your busy schedule to sit down.
Yeah, you're lucky. No, you're welcome. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
I'm kidding. You're lucky. That's my new year welcome.
That's your you're lucky. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about what got you into games. Like, how long have you been gaming? I'm guessing your entire life, but it felt like one of those.
River Raid.
Huh?
River Raid.
Okay.
You know.
Never played that.
Atari.
Oh, okay. I started as a PC gamer.
Yeah. So my bad. Yeah, we didn't have PCs back in my day. We had Commodores.
I did too. Okay, came from the desert too.
Yeah.
Did you play that?
No.
No. Okay, that was Commodore.
I played Glitchy. Like alternate reality was a fun one.
Okay.
Like Zork text-based stuff.
There we go.
Games. Nothing really that required.
Did you play any of like the golden age of Sierra games, like Space?
Commander Keen. Yeah. Duke Nukem, like the side scroller. Oh yeah. Since games were a thing, but not since Pong.
What are the kind of games you're playing now?
Well, I wish this is weird. Okay, so the busiest year I've ever had, like as a touring musician, I just played PUBG every day, 7 hours a day. No music came out, nothing got done. Management would be screaming at me. And I'm touring, on weekends and doing all this stuff. I just mainline a game and I get like good at it and fun, and then that's it. I don't. Hey, what's new on Steam today? And then go dabble because then I don't like learning.
Okay.
New games, what I mean? I just want to I'm actually good at this, and that's like saying a lot with PUBG. There's a lot of it's a really great game, despite its flaws. It's great.
I have played a ton of PUBG, and it's still one of my. It's probably again, it didn't have all the weird mechanics of Fortnite. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's a lot of fun to play. It's easy for other people to kind of pick up and play with.
I try to. When I'm streaming, I try to keep it fair and interesting, whether I'm doing something wrong or right. But when I'm offline, it's like I fight dirty. So. And if I were to stream that, they would be like, bro, they're so lame. You can learn to play. Come out and fight. Hey man, win's a win.
From a technology standpoint, at least from like when you think about PCs, like one of the things that you'd love to see is still you have that separation between the machines that you use for your production and all that sort of stuff, and still there's still that separation between gaming and the two, right?
Yeah, but but that's squishing together nicely now,
which is nice,
and,
right?
which is very nice because I could do production level things on my gaming rig.
Yep.
Which is like all I want. I want to have one big computer in my house and do everything on it.
Yep.
No, I just like to be able to be, working away on a project. Hey, yo, let's quick 1v1 on. All right, I'll tab.
Switch.
Done, gone, gaming. And then I've even got the scene still rendering in the background. So it's like 80% of my GPU is dedicated to this render, and I'm still playing Rocket League just fine.
You have a pretty rocking system, a 5950X. You've got PCIe Gen 4 NVMe. You got a 3090, which pretty much the entire audience is drooling right now.
Yeah, it's a commodity.
It's a commodity. Yeah. It is a commodity. But the question is like, why? Why the upgrade? What was it that brought about getting a new system now?
Basically, the 3090 being a production level card for as great as it is for gaming, and no joke, like I haven't dropped a frame at any game I've thrown on it so far, or at least that I enjoy.
And do you stream and game on the same system, or do you actually have a same? Okay.
Yeah, and that was the point of this system, because I was like, these 3090s are kind of no joke, and it also stands in as a workhorse, and that's what I find most attractive about the last 5 years is a lot of this. There was a gap of $10,000 between Pixar level workstation and gamer. And now it's just, kind of meeting it in the middle, where obviously there are some pitfalls to just using the gamer card to do production level stuff. But again, the gap is starting to close a little bit more, and that's kind of cool for both the industry and, people who just enjoy games. So.
When we think about storage in general, and basically as technology's kind of improved and gotten better and stuff like that, you've kind of followed this as part of what you do on a regular basis as a music producer and DJ and all that sort of stuff. You want to talk a little bit about that journey?
Well, for me, storage has always been kind of a weird thing because, starting out, I wasn't really amassing massive files. I mean, music, when you're making it, you're multi-tracking and stuff like that. So say you had, 7 parts to a song that was 7 minutes, right? So you had kick, drums, this, that, the other thing. Well, you got to imagine the file size is whatever the song is, right? A whopping 75 meg for the wave file at 44.1 kilohertz, which is raw PCM encoding. You times that by 7, So it was. I kind of reached a point where it's like I'm doing a song a day or an idea, or whether it turned into anything or not. It was just off to Radio Shack, get a USB drive, you know what I mean? And then every 5 years or so, I do the whole big, and then just start poking through them, looking at things, seeing what's on there and stuff. And I was like, okay, this can't be right, And then someone had then talked me into oh, you got to do cloud storage, And I tried that, and I'm like, it's not there for me yet. Especially with the advent of 8K, we're doing audio. Audio, you're right, at 192 kilohertz, best quality, 100 tracks per track, fine. But we start doing video, all our artist videos, all that stuff, and storage very quickly becomes a problem.
The speed in which you can get things on to storage or out of storage has become really important.
Well, there's two things, right? When I'm working locally, it's not really a big deal, right? It takes a few milliseconds to load up and start streaming data, right? But I'm at the mercy of 10 base T.
Right.
So I can only go as fast as whatever is coming through the network, and that's good and great. But for things that need to be performant, like real-time applications like my Cube Show or my Previs and stuff like that, I have to take all the stuff that's on the network and boop it over to the workstation and let it live there. Just copy it straight up and do my modifications, dump it back when I'm done, which is standard practice. I'm okay with that. I need to do that for just basically getting terabytes of data onto my monitor, basically, and through the application or the IDE that I'm using to be able to have no frame loss.
Right.
You drop a frame, you're done.
Yep.
You know, some of that stuff you can get away with, but when it comes to my show, at least for me, it feels like if I'm dropping a single frame, I'm toast. So we rely very heavily on like M2 drives and stuff like that to be able to basically throttle as much, offload as much demand from our GPU as we can for storage. Like Touch Designer is pretty low level, like
right.
as in like you could play with memory, you can play with like, you know, chunking up files and pre-reading and stuff like that. There's a lot of options for that kind of thing, and even shaders. Those are the kind of things that you can kind of let go, like Jesus take the wheel with the GLSL shader, and then let the hard drive, you know, kind of feed in, you know, the pre-cached video content, so that when we start doing like blending, kind of unload that video and wipe it from RAM, or get it off the GPU, let the GLSL do the thing, and then kind of blend in the other one, or hard switch and stuff like that. There's like a million ways to do it. I think now we're meeting in the middle, and I think storage is now going to start playing a bigger role in the kind of professional applications and video game applications, which is really important because not everybody is a Joel who's got to access, you know, terabytes of video data all the time. But yeah, speed is king, because I don't think we'll ever escape the need for rasterized content.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is like we want as little bottlenecking, right? Like due reliance on pretty much VRAM at this point in time for a lot of things. Yeah. All of a sudden, if I can start direct writing at ridiculous speeds to the GPU directly from storage, or the GPU directly from RAM, or whatever it was, that all makes a big difference. And PCIe Gen 4, and you know, as it gets faster, is only going to help that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and especially at glorious frame rates.
Yeah,
right.
Which is, I mean,
it's night and day. We were. I want to say we were probably the first electronic music touring thing that was running our content at 60 hertz. You know, 60 frames a second. I mean, it's nice. It's so smooth. I can't tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, great. I gamed on 60 forever and ever and ever. I just, you know, on a whim going, you know what? I'm going to buy the expensive monitor today and the good video card.
I'm excited about what you're about to just say.
And then 140 hertz, I was like, what the hell have I been doing? You know what I mean? And then I sucked at every game imaginably for a week.
And that's precision.
And I can't go back.
Yeah.
I cannot go back. Me watching 60 frames per second, this is the most vainest thing I've ever said, is like going back to cable.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't look at this. And then you go to a concert and you're looking at their LED wall and it's 24.
Oh.
I just want to die.
Yeah.
You know, so that's always been a big thing with me is, you know, the high frame rate does make a difference. If you stood behind a kid playing, you know, PUBG at 60 and then another kid playing the same game at like 140, you're like, oh, that looks way better. Yeah. Oh, it's this, it's that. And then there's a lot of perceived betterment that comes from a high FPS. That's not just an FPS. It's like, you know, motion tends to look a little like more real.
Yeah. A lot of people know you for music and everything else, but they don't know how much you're into games. Like we just like pretty much geeked out and jumped across both of those pretty easily. Tell me a little bit about what got you into games. Like how long have you been gaming? What was the first PC you ever had?
The first PC I ever had, I had this uncle. He was the guy.
Okay.
You know, the dude. He was the one that got me into like, you know, Commander Keen and Jazz Jackrabbit. And we could never really like get one for the home kind of thing, and we had no need for one.
Yeah.
My dad worked in manufacturing, and my mom worked in mum things. You know? Yeah. And that was it. You know, we had no need for a computer. There was no email. There was no nothing. You know, it was just kind of a novelty item for the home, right? Music wasn't a thing. So on PC. So it was like, I did do piano lessons and all this stuff, and I had an interest in music, but just like there was PC speakers.
Yep.
And that's it. This is pre-Sound Blaster stuff. But then as that kind of came to be where the Sound Blaster could do ADPCM audio, then came along the trackers and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, you can actually make music on a computer to some degree, right? And that was really fun. And that begun my Dead Mouse journey. That was the start of it. And part of that was just kind of the Christmas or something, you know, like, hey, I really want, you know, 486 or something like that. And so I think my first actual like kind of one that I did work on was a 486. You know, I started on you know, trackers and stuff like that, all the old school DOS music making programs, but then also kind of put me in gaming. for PC, which was like, again, top spec, Commander Keen stuff, you know, Duke Nukem and all those kind of... not quite Doom. It wasn't quite good enough. Like, it was a little... but it worked. Wolfenstein, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Wolfenstein 3.
For sure.
I think one of the things that people don't remember about Wolfenstein was just the soundscape of that game for the first time, like hearing doors open. And
all 4 channels of it. Yeah. It was insane.
But it was. I mean, but like in the end, like it really, like did any of that ever impact, like, when you heard music from that and stuff? Is that the stuff that kind of got you into that?
Yeah, because that was all very tracker based. They were MIDI files that just basically ran through a kind of tracker based sound engine that was like 40 KB of lines of code that just basically said, you know, when this MIDI file gets to this point, just play this like GM sound that was either embedded in the game, or optionally you could suss it out to like MIDI hardware that had a MIDI input and stuff like that. So music in games actually at one point required an external MIDI player device. Like the music you were actually hearing was coming from another device, not your PC. It was just sending over the MIDI information. So gaming was like that for like a long time. But then, you know, Sound Blaster came along and Turtle Beach and all that stuff, and they started putting MIDI chips onto these things. That's when they were like, why are we using MIDI? We'll just embed the sounds on the hard drive and have the hard drive played out through the 80 PCM converter on the card.
What are some of the things we can look forward to, and what are some of the things that are happening for deadmau5 and Joel moving forward?
It's about setting up businesses and culminating the next, thing, whether it's music or tech or whatever. So we've done a lot of things like in that realm. The first one was start a record label. But I like a little more than that. I like technology and games and this and that. So we've also spun up an agency called Pixel Links, which is a digital agency for creators who aren't programmers. You know, not all creators are programmers or know about video games and how they work and stuff like that. So Pixel Link is going to basically act as a bridge between, you know, creators, musicians who just exclusively work on their thing and don't know anything about video games, but don't know, and then the video games, right, the business side of that. They need that stuff, right? But these conversations that happen over that bridge usually die or get confused or whatever, because programmers talk to programmers and musicians know how to talk to musicians, but we're going to act as that go-between. We'll summarize it as, you know, being kind of taking a back seat on the mouse head as I approach my 50s, and more a front seat in culminating creation and digital media. And I say that as in like video games, videos, musicians, music releases, anything created with a computer. I think we're going to have a good hand in, just to keep my mind afloat.
So Joel, I just want to say thank you so much for coming, hanging out, spending a little time with us in your very busy schedule, and what I expect to be more busy now based on the stuff coming out. And just looking forward to honestly seeing some of the stuff that's going to be coming out here in 2021 and on.
2021 was a big homely year for us. We just sat around, developed tools, worked with companies, curated ideas and relationships and stuff like that. So I think 2022 is like our year of action, I think.
I'm excited.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks again to deadmau5 for your time. Speed innovations in NVMe SSDs aren't just about changing how games are played. They're also about changing how games are built. Here to unpack the complexities of game development and the importance of NVMEs in that process is industry-leading RPG developer CD Projekt Red.
Hi, my name is Marcin Kulikowski, and I'm a senior build engineer and C# programmer at CD Projekt Red. I do a lot of work around building pipelines and workflow creation, and making sure that they are properly implemented in the project. I also work on the development of in-house DevOps tools and our in-house build system, as well as managing the build tools used by our dev teams.
I'm Rafał Bremski, a C# engineer at CD Projekt Red. In my role, I perform maintenance of our build system, so writing code, making sure software is up to date and machines are running at optimal performance.
Cyberpunk 2077 is an ambitious open-world RPG. It features a really strong focus on player immersion via its first-person camera.
The game is set in huge, futuristic megalopolis of Night City, where greedy megacorporations rule and cybernetic implants are everywhere. As the player, you explore this city and become sucked into the mercenary underworld, meeting a ton of memorable characters along the way. What speaks to me the most in Cyberpunk 2077 are those characters and stories we tell with them. It's so immersive getting to know these individuals, spending time with them, following their quest lines. You really connect with these people and they feel real and believable. Of course, building a city this dense and complex, you're bound to run into some technical challenges. From internal network bandwidth to larger scale operations, such as building a dynamic global illumination system for the entire open world.
We also have some cool, innovative solutions to help us gain visual feedback from the game. For example, we have a web-based map of Night City, which shows us heat maps that help us visualize data really intuitively.
To build a game like this, well, you really need a lot of expertise from many different areas of development. Programmers, artists, producers, testers, designers, and beyond. It's a large-scale team effort across the whole studio. All their work, all the technology and hardware used throughout development leads us to having the thing we aim for from the beginning, the game build.
Our build system is the main tool we use that allows us to put builds together, including input from many different teams, all working on different parts of the project. For Cyberpunk 2077, the build system is a highly advanced automation environment.
It basically provides a way to automate and streamline all the different processes needed for teams to work in a multi-branch manner. It's a sophisticated system that handles a huge variety of tasks.
Building and deploying shaders, the deployment of editor packages for designers, developer game builds, and retail-ready game builds for different platforms. It handles the generation of procedural game data, such as collisions, UI icons, minimap data, and the processing of audio data too. These are just some of the many things our build system handles.
And in addition to being this really powerful, cohesive production tool, it acts as an information hub too. Our team will use the build system to see the real-time information and statistics about the current state of the game, any recent changes, functional tests, and so on. So it not only helps us build the game and bring it to life, but also monitor it and maintain it for future development.
Currently, Cyberpunk 2077 build system contains more than 150 machines, with more than 200 active users. But this number can be much more, as every dev in the studio can use it for their work. The system runs 24/7, all year round, with virtually no downtime at all, and it works for all the Projekt studios, no matter the location.
Thanks to Seagate SSDs, we've seen a great boost to performance, widening the possibilities of the build system. Since implementing the drives, we've run more than 800,000 builds altogether, including 60,000 game package deployments and over 20,000 world builds. The data from this is later used by all the other processors and developers, so they can run them inside the game editor. So it's pretty intensive from a sheer performance perspective.
Even with this level of usage, we haven't had a single drive hamper our efforts or fail on us. I can't stress enough how essential hardware reliability is for projects of this magnitude. It makes all the difference in the world.
When you have a hardware you know you can rely on, it gives you a peace of mind. It helps you avoid real nightmare scenarios. Imagine you're putting together a milestone build test, making sure everything is in place and ready for testers to start work on. And the build fails because of storage issue, something totally out of your control. With drives like this from Seagate, situations like that become much less of a concern.
And as well as being a powerful safety net, these drives are real performance masters. I can talk a lot about how people tend to upgrade everything in their PC besides the storage, then not seeing the performance boost they expected. These NVMe SSDs eliminate small or slow disk bottlenecks and maximize the performance of individual machines.
The drives really improve the utilization of other system resources too, such as the GPU, CPU, and network drives. And having more space to work with really complements our multi-branch environment. It means we can have many workspaces with no downtime when switching branches on the same machine. And we can also execute more resource-intensive tasks in parallel on a single machine. This makes things way more efficient and cuts down time spent waiting for things to process by a huge amount.
Flexibility is a really important factor. With space and speed not limiting us, we can afford to store and retain a lot of build artifacts, no matter how much space they take. And it speeds up our deployments too. Now it can take less than 4.5 hours to deploy retail-ready packages in one go. That's quite the upgrade.
As a longtime game developer, that was an eye-opening experience for me. I feel like we truly are in a paradigm shift for gameplay. All right, we've gone deep into the hardware of your gaming setups. Now, let's talk a little bit about the experience. Because any gamer will tell you gameplay isn't complete without the perfect atmosphere. Now, here with us now are our friends at Razer, creators of the Razer Chroma RGB, showing us just how immersive you can get with your gaming atmosphere experience. And not just with the game or PC itself, but all the way around, even with external devices like Seagate's FireCuda Gaming Hub. Let's check it out.
Razer Chroma RGB is the world's largest lighting ecosystem for gaming devices. We support thousands of devices and have over 200 natively integrated games and applications with over 20 million active users to date. And with IoT and smart home integration, we are integrating the smart desktop with the smart home. Razer Chroma is all about building the ultimate gamer's battle station for that truly immersive lighting experience. Today, we're thrilled to have Seagate join the Razer Chroma RGB ecosystem. And together with the new range of FireCuda devices, we want the ability for users to sync their lighting effects across all of their devices and build that native experience across the gamer's desktop. We'd like to thank Seagate Gaming for all of their support, and we wish them all the success going forward.
Don't just play your games. With innovations like we just saw, you can now truly experience them. And thanks again to Razer for leading the way on RGB integration. Now for the fun part, putting all of these products together. PCIe Gen 4 impacts the whole system, so every piece of hardware should be working together to give you the full power capacity that these advancements unlock. I had the opportunity to host an amazing custom build featuring NZXT and all of our other partners from this event, putting together the cutting-edge PC that we will be giving away right here in just a few minutes. Here's more about NZXT, one of the best custom PC builders in the gaming industry, helping you get the most out of a PCIe Gen 4 battle station. And then stay tuned to see if you are the lucky person who's going to take this custom rig home. This is one of the most exciting times to be a gamer. With the technology found in today's computers, we are ever so close to creating that photorealistic world being displayed at such high resolutions and frame rates, it blows your mind. However, in order to keep up with the demand of modern games, investing into a storage device like the FireCuda 530 PCIe Gen 4 M.2 is needed to get the most out of your system. So why do you need a PCIe Gen 4 SSD in your build? Well, first and foremost, you get faster load times in gaming. Nothing takes you out of the game more than waiting for minutes for a game to load. However, with the performance found in PCIe Gen 4 M.2's, large, vast worlds load in almost an instant. Those save games that you wait so long for, nearly instantaneously. Now, this is only the beginning, as PCIe Gen 4 is going to allow open communication across a number of components, and things like RTX I/O and RDNA 2.0 begin to take shape and affect how games are developed. Now, here's some things you need to consider. 1. Motherboard support. Even if you have a PCIe Gen 4 SSD, you still need to have the right motherboard that supports it. Luckily, most of the latest chipsets from the CPU manufacturers, such as Intel's Z590 and AMD's X570 and B550 chipset, support the use of Gen 4 devices. The team here at NZXT, though, has got you covered. That may be with their latest B550 motherboard for support for their latest Ryzen processors and PCIe Gen 4, or their new Z590 motherboards for 11th gen Intel boards that just recently added PCIe Gen 4 support as well. And not only can you get individual components with PCIe Gen 4 from NZXT, but with the build program that they have, you can make a custom gaming PC that has all the options for PCIe Gen 4 capable CPUs, motherboards, and storage. You can build a custom gaming PC based on the games that you play and the budget that you have, and instantly get frame rate data based on the games you love. You can easily modify each component in your build so that you can get the level of performance you want. Each NZXT build is built by a highly skilled technician who will ensure that your gaming PC is properly built and cable managed, which I love, which takes the hassle out of the building experience. Finally, you get that peace of mind with NZXT Build's 2-year warranty on parts and labor, so if a part ever fails, such as the CPU, GPU, or PSU, all you need to do is contact NZXT. So there you have it. NZXT has got you covered for PCIe Gen 4. Whether that's building your own rig or having them build one for you, you can get the fastest and best technology for gaming or creating it the way you want. Okay guys, let's get started on the build for SG21. Okay, so let's go through the parts for this particular build. First and foremost, we got the Ryzen 5 5600X. For our motherboard, we're putting this in the MSI MEG B550 Unify. For our power supply, we've got the NZXT C750 ATX PSU. For our GPU, we've got the AMD Radeon RX 6800 XT. This is the gaming trio one. Down here for cooling, which is going to be more than enough, is the EK Waterblock 360 AIO that we're going to be putting in a push-pull inside of this case, which is the NZXT H710. And then of course, the coup de grace, we have that new FireCUDA 530, absolutely beast of a PCIe Gen 4. We're gonna be putting a 2 terabyte inside of this awesome system. So you are gonna have blazing fast speeds, whether that's for gaming, productivity, or whatever it was, should you be the one who walks away with this. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started on the build. First thing we're gonna do is open up and get our Ryzen 5. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna use it on its side. There's a little arrow in the top left-hand corner, just pop it in. Let's go and do our RAM. The clicks are so good. One more. Solid! So I think we actually have quite a bit of room right here. I love this case. This case is a very easy case to build in. If we wanted to do push-pull, what our options are here. Hey, we got it, look at that. There you go, see? Look at that. Look at that radiator. You can see we got full push-pull, and we're just gonna hook up our other little fans here, and then we'll be good to go. Now finally, we're putting the whole thing in. Okay, there we go. Now we're finally cooking something here, and that's mounted right. Okay, now our GPU's in. Everything looks good. So let's go ahead and put in our FireCUDA 530 and make sure that this thing is ready to go. So here it is, that 530 series FireCUDA drive. Just stick that in here now. 100% ready to go. Yep, I see power. And boom. There you go. You get a nice kind of cleaner look. Wow, that build looks good. I may be biased, but that is one heck of a machine. It's a cutting-edge, custom rig built with some of the best hardware on the market, including Seagate's FireCUDA 530 for that peak PCIe Gen 4 SSD performance. Plus, we've paired the machine with some killer peripherals from Razer. This machine has everything for the PCIe Gen 4 gamer to bring their gameplay into the future. Thank you again to all of our partners who made this build possible. And now is the time to reveal if that gamer is you. Between May 24th and June 14th, Seagate received thousands of entries on Seagate.com. The winner was picked at random from all of those entries. So, are you ready? The winner is... Congratulations! You will be taking home this amazing custom PC, made possible by Seagate and our generous partners. Built with love from some incredible PC builders like moi. PCIe Gen 4 is the heart of gaming now, and the innovations in hardware and gameplay are only getting bigger and better. I think the doors to the future have opened, and Seagate and today's partners are certainly forging that path. But we want to hear from you. What were you excited about? How are you upgrading your machines, and what's needed that we can address? Head over to Seagate Gaming on Twitter and Instagram and get involved in the discussion, or find me at Robitech, and let's build the PCs of tomorrow together. Now, if you'd like to check out more from Seagate Gaming, be sure to check out Inside Gaming with Seagate. It's an original web series on the latest and greatest in PC and console gaming, hosted by my good friend, Patrick Macca, available over on YouTube. On behalf of Seagate and all of our partners, thank you for joining us at SG21. Here's to the future. Happy gaming.